You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. And we are joined, as we are every Tuesday, by the one and only Auburn message board legend, Charlie 5. And man, as we record this, it seems like the sky is falling on Auburn, Alabama, with Austen Davis officially stepping away from the job. This is a weird scenario, but here we are. Auburn is without an OC yet again.
5 coordinators, 6 wins. Let's go.
Not a great look.
Not a great look.
Brian Harsin, not a great look from the recruiting standpoint. I mean, there's not a whole lot about this that's positive. I think, the interesting part of it is like, okay, how bad is it? And how, is Harsin in control at all? And it does, from the outside looking in, it does not seem like he's in control at all.
Yeah, actually, I may make an argument that it seems like he is 100% in control. He may be like he doesn't have the reins on it, but he is 100% in control, and this is the effects of that. So, no, I'm just it's really hard. I think you could probably take it like on a case by case basis and make yourself feel good about it. But when you go look at it from the whole, I think we possibly. By the end of Tuesday, could be leading the SEC in portal entries, and we're starting a new coordinator search that we talked about in the Discord pretty much before everybody. So I just want to throw that out there and need to join the Discord.
Yeah, join the Locked On Auburn Discord. Yeah, you would have known about this hours before everyone else, right?
So not a good look. Not a good look. And I think it's also a really bad look. It's a bad look on Brian Harsin, but I think it's probably equally a bad look on Austen Davis. So it's just definitely not good right now. We really need some good news. We need something to happen. Signing day's tomorrow. So we got a couple of targets. Really need, there's one really big one that we have felt.
Citizen?
The big running back. Yes, exactly. Citizen from Louisiana. We felt really, really good about him. But like, how does this shake? I mean, does this make him seem like, hey, maybe there's some instability here? Like, why would I want to go there?
Yeah, I mean, it can't help. And I'm sure he's talking to players on the inside. They're like, hey, it's really not that bad. But Louisiana people are wild. You never know where they're coming from. So
absolutely. It's
right.
It's a mixed bag. Let's go.
Right.
Surprise.
Absolutely. You posed an interesting question earlier today, and I would like you to ask it.
Yeah. So I started wondering with all the stuff we've kind of seen and like players leaving, coaches seemingly unhappy being here. Did Bo see this coming? I just want to throw that. Did Bo Nix?
So you're asking the question, did Bo Nix see all of this fallout coming?
Yeah. Was the famous or infamous Dad and Bo powwow with Harsin, was it over a lot of the stuff that we're seeing play out right now? Hey, what are we going to do to make sure that some of this isn't going to happen? I mean, could that be what did he see sort of the wheels were the direction, which way the ship was headed? And he just felt like, I got one more year and I can't let it be in the middle of this turmoil. I don't know. I'm just wanting to throw that out there.
My gut reaction to that is no. Like there's no way he could have seen the Austen Davis hire coming. There's no way he could have seen the Derek Mason departure coming. Then there's no way you can see the Austen Davis departure. So I don't know. What's the argument that he did see that?
Well, I mean, I think there were a lot of people. There was a lot of talk that, Derek Mason's name came up in a lot of jobs. There was a lot of talk that maybe he wasn't necessarily that happy. We didn't add any offensive line help, wide receivers in the portal. Maybe that wasn't necessarily a priority. Recruiting in general on the offensive side of the ball. They fired Bobo. They threw Bobo under the bus, fired Bobo within 5 minutes of getting finished with the season. What are you going to do to fix that? I mean, there's a lot of things that you could look at that he could I mean, the most pessimistic fan could have found a lot of reasons to justify that maybe Bo did see this coming, because they may have seen it coming too at that point in time, which, like I said, that would be a super pessimistic fan. But the way things have played out now, looking at it in hindsight, you just kind of wonder, was super pessimist, maybe possibly a little bit right this time. I don't know.
It's a fascinating question. I think it's giving Bo Nix too much credit, but it's still an interesting conversation nonetheless. So the positive side of this, and tell me if you think I'm crazy, because I may be. Y'all tell me I'm crazy all the time, so I don't know. But the whole losing Austen Davis, how big of a deal is it actually? A guy with no experience, a guy that we all kind of had to talk ourselves into, like, okay, he coached Russell Wilson, so that's exciting. That's a big part of this. Losing him, a guy that wasn't going to call your plays anyway. This was Brian Harson's offense in 2022. And so it seems like the most likely scenario right now is they elevate Keesau, the wide receivers coach, the potato posse going strong. And then they put Trevon Reed at wide receivers coach, because frankly, I think he's earned it. He saved the 2022 signing class. And so you look at that, and it's still Harson's offense. You just lose a NFL quarterbacks coach that may have translated to this level. We don't know that. Yeah. And you gain a really talented on-field recruiter, which we desperately need.
Yeah. I mean, I think for 2022, Austen Davis is not worth one win or one loss, one way or the other. In other words, I don't think Austen, and again, I think each, if you could break each individual issue down and rationalize it that way. But it's kind of like when you're in a criminal trial, and it's not necessarily about evidence. One,
I love that you bring up trials all the time.
Yeah, it's all the time. It's not necessarily like, I'm looking at evidence 1, evidence
legal
2,
expert,
evidence 3.
And message board legend Charlie 5.
Yeah. It's not so much that you take each individual piece of evidence. It's like, okay, you got all these pieces of evidence that kind of point in the same direction. So I think that's sort of where the unrest or the uneasiness comes about it moving forward. I'm with you. I think Keesau is probably going to be elevated. For whatever reason, Harsin seems very, very adamant about having a quarterbacks coach. So
why is he not the quarterbacks coach?
That makes no
sense to me.
That's a good question. Maybe Keesau could be that guy. I'm not 100%.
I don't think he has before.
No, but
it doesn't mean
he's offensive coordinator, right? Right.
Yeah.
And it seems like him being the offensive coordinator is more so going to be like, I think he would be a similar role to what Austen Davis would do. Maybe Keesau still he's the wide receivers coach, offensive coordinator. Harsin seems like he really wants a quarterbacks coach. So although I would love Trevon to get an on the field role, because no disrespect to wide receivers coach is out there, but that is one of the positions that is a primary recruiting position versus a X's and O's development position. So Trevon would be plenty and good enough to be in that spot and be able to recruit multiple positions on offense and make an impact. I'm not 100% sure that's the direction that they're going to go. I feel like they're going to try to do a quarterback type coach deal. But the thing is, we are late in the game. We are way late in the game.
It's been like that the whole time. And you heard stories coming out of like why the defensive line coach thing took so long. And we all thought it was because they were going to the NFL, but they wanted Trevon Reed. Like Trevon Reed was the D-line coach and he was out recruiting. And it's like, oh, okay. That makes sense. That totally makes sense.
Yeah.
But optically, he's been behind for everything. Whether there's been a plan or not, like he's just always been behind the 8 ball. And it's like, man, you got to get ahead of it, man. You're not in the Mountain West anymore.
Yeah, doing something quickly does not necessarily mean that you don't. He uses this slogan, "You want it right or you want it right now," and I think that those two terms are not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, you can do something quickly and it be the right move.
Exactly. I don't
Just
think
because
those
something
terms are
doesn't take a week or two to, materialize doesn't mean it's bad.
right. Exactly. And because if you nail something, if you have a ton of sense of urgency and you nail something right away, it doesn't mean that you rushed it without thinking. Like,
Right.
and a lot of times these scenarios you should already have played them out. Like you should already have
Yeah, like you don't know who
plans in play. Like,
yeah, like if you're, I don't know, if your offensive line coach leaves like tonight, you don't know who the first call is.
yeah, or we have to go to a ZipRecruiter and figure it out. Like, is that what we're doing? We're gonna go filter through resumes on ZipRecruiter? No, like you should already have you should already
Parsons
have.
strikes me as a LinkedIn kind of guy, though. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's probably true. Or
Yeah,
Indeed.
profile pictures matter, I think.
Indeed, their color scheme's blue and orange, so he's probably Indeed guy.
That's it. Just different shades of blue and orange. I think you're all over it, Charlie 5. Hey, in just a moment, I want to talk about what Nate Oates is saying about Auburn Arena, and Auburn fans took it personally. There's less football being played right now. Obviously, you've got the Super Bowl, but betonline.net has way more odds and info for the Super Bowl coming up, as well as college basketball. From scores, totals, player performance, props, to where the next coach is fired and where he's going to land. BetOnline is the number one spot for all things NFL betting in 2022. And of course, college basketball, because BetOnline is your home for everything. BetOnline, the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports and play your favorite games. BetOnline, where the game starts. Charlie 5, Nate Oates, poking at Auburn Arena, saying, "What? Does it just hold 8 to 10,000? You're the number one team in the country. Of course you're going to sell out. There's nothing special about Auburn Arena." Why would he say what? Like, what do you get out of saying that, Nate Oates?
That was an interesting comment. I'm not very self-aware of what I'm about to get into. Type deal.
He's obsessed. That Nate Oates wakes up and thinks about Bruce Pearl. I promise you.
I think
that
so
dude
too.
goes to bed, like all of us, thinking about Bruce Pearl. But it's a problem for him because he has to compete against him.
Yeah, so you have a 15,000 seat arena that you average 6,000 to 7,000 in attendance every game. I mean,
right?
Come on.
You could fit all the empty seats in Coleman inside of Auburn Arena. That is the weirdest flex I've ever heard.
Such a weird flex. Meanwhile, we have standing room only going for like $300. Like, come on, like that's silly.
You just beat Baylor. Like you just went and you beat a really good Baylor team, and you're focused about Auburn Arena. Like, have some awareness.
And it's like you're just really trying to belittle. And here's the thing about that. All that did was possibly make that stadium louder now. Like all you did was like you didn't do anything to piss off the players. Like the players, that doesn't really affect the players. You didn't be like, oh, so and so has a not very good jump shot. We're not really worried about him. And then that player's more fired up. So now the fans, like, you don't think there's going to be signs and there's going to be chants and there's going to be people all in grip. Oh, the memes are going to be glorious. Like that place.
5,000 memes in like 7 minutes against Alabama earlier this season.
Yeah.
Somehow we're going to top it. It's going to be crazy.
And this is the dumbest thing ever. Like
somebody's flipping me off right now.
Yeah. Cameron Indoor Arena is similar in size as Auburn Stadium is. Does anybody ever call that stadium small? No, they call them the Cameron Crazies. Like nobody wants to go play there because it's tough. That was the most like the dumbest flex, dumbest like dig that I've ever seen.
And then Bruce Pearl talks to the media and he's like, "Yes, Alabama, Kentucky are the best two teams we've played this year, and then we'll put LSU in there as well." Like that was his thing. And You'll hear from Zep Jasper in just a few minutes as he joins us. But this team is focused. This team is dialed in, and Nate Oates is focused on it's just like, what in the world is going? Like, what a bad decision. And he's going to be a really good coach for Maryland next year. I really think so.
Yeah. I do think he's a good coach at time. I mean, he has a good coach. He's a semi-fun system, but like he just seems like a big dork. He just seems like a big dork. He has no idea.
Sure. But the whole he's either like he can't motivate his players, or he's getting the kind of dudes that like can't be motivated. Like it's one of those two things.
I want to say it's probably the first part because he's a dork. Like it's just hard to get fired up for just a big old dork. I mean, have you seen his golf swing? It's pathetic.
No, you're the guy with the golf podcast, though. So
not impressive. It's not impressive at all.
How is Bruce Pearl's golf swing?
I've never seen Bruce. I don't think Bruce plays. So,
but if he did, it'd be beautiful.
It'd probably be perfect.
Be better than Nate Oates, that's for sure.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this game? Seriously, the fact that it's a home makes me feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, I feel good. There's no way Kessler's not going to be a non-factor like he was. I mean, think about it. We beat them at their place, and Kessler played like 8 minutes. I mean, Bruce had his powwow with the referees and in the officiating crews, and sent film in and complaints and this, that, and the other. And you see now they're calling the game correctly on Kessler, unlike they did for that two game span against Florida and against Alabama. And he has become absolutely dominant again. What are they going to do? They have no size whatsoever. And I just think we're going to pummel them. They're not going to be able to handle the crowd, and it's going to be a fun night. I'm going to be there. It's tonight, so I'm going to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun.
The fact that both Auburn Alabama games are midweek games,
it's a travesty.
It is a crime that the SEC should be charged with.
The death penalty. No, just kidding.
Little extreme. That was a little extreme, Charlie 5. But something.
You know what? But you know what? I'm mad. Were they not both on Tuesdays too? That's kind of weird.
I think they were both Tuesdays at 8. We can't even get the 6 o'clock slot.
But you know what? That allows me to go to kids' night. I'm going to go to kids' night at Baumhower's before I go to the game.
Kids eat free. There you go.
Kids eat free.
Bunch of TVs everywhere. Face painting. What else do you want?
Balloon animals. All right, keep going. All right, we're good.
How can people find you and hear you, my friend, before we jump into our conversation with Zep Jasper?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at _Charlie_5, Auburn Live message board, The Corner, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday on the Dad Bod Golf Pod. Also, the Locked On Auburn Discord, which is the best place that you can be throughout the day. It's like a big group chat with your buds.
We will put a link to that in the episode description down below, so be sure to check that out. That is Charlie 5. Thank you, sir. Save time and money when using Rock Auto. Why choose to spend 30%, 50%, even 100% more for the same parts from a chain store or car dealership? Rock Auto is a family business serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years. Rock Auto prices are reliably low for every customer. Be sure to check out rockauto.com today. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car, truck, or SUV. Right, Locked On in their How Did You Hear About Us box, so they know that we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, and all the parts your car will ever need. That's at rockauto.com. Zep Jasper, Auburn guard, joining us. Zep, congratulations on the big win against the Oklahoma Sooners. Auburn doing its part for the SEC in the SEC Big 12 Challenge. It's a pretty cool thing to watch as a fan of college basketball. I imagine it's fun to play somebody that you don't typically play, like a team from the Big 12, like Oklahoma.
I thought it was very interesting, the SEC versus Big 12 this past Saturday. It just shows you how strong the SEC basketball is compared to the Big 12.
Right.
I had been seeing a lot of people saying the Big 12 was better than the SEC basketball, which I had no clue that the Big 12 basketball was great. But the SEC basketball is on another level this year. I think the SEC is the best conference in college basketball this year. It's super strong, 1 through 9. Yeah. You're gonna get the best out of every game. Every road game is gonna be tough. Every home game is gonna be tough. I just think the SEC basketball is the toughest conference in the nation, without a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, the SEC had a chance to kind of flex its muscles and it did. Kentucky kind of proven that they're one of the hottest teams in all of college basketball. And I mean, that makes, y'all's win against them significantly more impressive. They ran Kansas out of the gym, which is crazy. That doesn't happen a whole lot. And then you look at like an Alabama team who you guys will be playing Tuesday night. A lot of folks kind of wrote them off and they took it to Baylor. And so, this SEC season has been, it's been pretty inconsistent for a lot of teams, but you're seeing a lot of talent kind of come, when the season's about to start peaking here.
Well, it's to me, it's all about matchups.
Yeah.
Who you're facing. When you're facing a team that plays your style, like Alabama played against Baylor, they both got similar playing styles, and they both play the same. So I thought Alabama would beat Baylor, and Alabama came out with the win. That was very impressive with them having an up and down season. And Kansas and Kentucky game was just super crazy because I didn't think Kentucky was going to just blow them out the park. But as we speak, Kentucky is one of the hottest teams in the country right now. So is we. But I think we'll see Kentucky again as we speaking on this podcast right now. I want everyone to remember this day and me speaking on this. And we're going to see them again. It's just about who's going to have the most fight, who's going to have the most grittiness, toughness. And I think, it's all about that at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think there's a very real chance Auburn and Kentucky play in the championship in the SEC tournament. And I think with the way this season has gone, that has to be what the SEC is pulling for, because it'd be a classic. I think it would be two heavyweights going at it. And, this time obviously it would be in Tampa. But one game at a time, Zep. So you guys take on Alabama again. Early in the season, you guys went up to Coleman and took care of business. Now they're coming off of a really big win, and they're coming to Auburn Arena. You guys have not lost at home, obviously. What should we expect going into this one?
With no doubt, Alabama is going to come in ready to play. No matter how many games they lost, no matter what games they won, if it's one thing, Alabama wants to beat Auburn.
Yeah.
They don't care who else they play. They beat Auburn. It's like it's a celebration.
Mm-hmm.
All those things we did with the crane, with social media. So they're mad. They're mad at us right now. They want to come out and play super hard. But one thing about us, we're gonna come out playing super hard, grittiness, toughness, because we feel like we got something to prove still. We prove like we need to run Alabama. We feel like this is our state. This is our country. We're number one for a reason. That's specifically why we're going to come out Tuesday and play super hard. And we're going to get the fans super pumped, super rallied. And we're just going to make sure we give it to Alabama as much as we can, because we know this is a big game. This is a rivalry game. And this is a game everyone is anticipating watching.
Zep, it's, the SEC did such a disservice to Auburn and Alabama, and I think just the whole conference, for both matchups between Auburn and Alabama, neither of them being on a Saturday. Like, that is just wrong. Like, that is just objectively wrong that both of these matchups this year have been on a weeknight. I think that is a total bummer. But I guess it is what it is.
Well, sometimes when people count you out, they just put anything on the schedule and put games on Tuesdays and just do you any type of way. Yeah. But when you finish out on top at the end of the day, at the end of the season, it's like they're rooting for you. But at first, they weren't rooting for us. We wasn't supposed to be number one. We weren't supposed to be ranked this high. We was 21 for all we know when we first started the season. And we were surprised we got 21. So they counted us out. Actually, they had Alabama at like number 9 or something like that. They had them as the big dogs starting the season. So I think that's the reason why the game was on Tuesday. They looked at us like an underdog. Auburn ain't good. Auburn ain't this. Auburn ain't that. And we just proved the doubters wrong. We built this team from ground on up. And we just, like I said, we're proving them wrong after each game.
What is something that Alabama did well in the first meeting this year that kind of gave you guys trouble, and do you expect them to do again on Tuesday?
Well, I say they had a bad game, but one thing one thing they do well is getting the ball off the rim and getting the ball in transition while you're on your heels. So that's going to be big coming into this game. We're expecting them to change a little bit of the style, how they play, and how they're going to guard us. Because we've been blazing hot. Winter
Right.
been coming off those ball screens, looking for those lobs, looking for those passes, and they're just going to try different strategies to stop us because we're so hot, and they just want to cool us down. So, anticipating this game, a good game, and we just want to come out super fast and super energetic. Once we start out fast, I don't think we can be stopped. But we
Right.
have to come out fast. We have to come out with great intensity, great enthusiasm, because if we don't, this team is going to want to beat us. This team wants this game bad. We got to want this game as bad as them.
I'm glad that you brought up the scoring and transition thing, because we've seen folks match up, and that seems to be a way that other teams are trying to attack you guys.
Mhm.
So what is the goal when you realize that they're trying to kind of push the ball down the floor a little bit quicker? Is it just getting back on defense faster, or are there other things that kind of go into that?
Well, it's two things. It's one, when you're tired, and teams kind of notice when we get in half court, they're great on defense.
Yeah.
They play defense in half court, but when we get the ball out the rim, it's like you scrambling. It's like who you got, who you play on defense, especially when you're a fast team. It's like we don't want Auburn in half court because they got some defenders that can play lockdown defense. They perimeter, their front court, and you just don't want to do that with us. So getting the ball off the rim is better for teams to just push the ball on us because, like I say, the half court defense is deadly.
Mm-hmm. Right. Looking ahead against Georgia this weekend, you guys will travel to Athens to take on Georgia. A team that maybe is feeling itself a little bit after getting that big win against Alabama. Maybe they're feeling better than they were, a few weeks ago, but still, you guys proved how much better you were than that Georgia team a few weeks ago. What's the approach going into that one?
The approach is going to be the same. Game time. As we speak, Georgia's game is already sold out versus with a lot of us Georgia guys being from Georgia, 8 or 7 of us being from Georgia. It's just crazy that the game is sold out, and a lot of our family ain't get tickets because Georgia wants to sell out because they want to win so bad. They want the fans to be there. So you know how much that means for Auburn to come into their arena, and just to come in and play the number one team and try to get the win. And I just look at it as big and look at it as a motivation standpoint, because you look at their games, look at all their games. They haven't sold out a game yet. And for Auburn to come in there, you want to sell out? That shows that we got to play big. That shows that we got to come with it, no matter how many wins they have. I think they have one in conference win that's versus Alabama, but that means nothing. They're 0-0 when it comes to Auburn. So that means we have to come ready to play, no matter what or who they got on their jersey. They're going to come to play.
Yeah, and I saw a lot of Auburn folks. I think there's going to be a lot of Auburn people in Athens on Saturday because they were kind of talking about, this is the cheapest way to go see you guys play this year, because the Auburn Arena is sold out. It's a hot ticket now, but yeah, you can get into that game in Athens for like $14. So I bet there's going to be some Auburn folks there on Saturday as well.
No doubt. I hope we pack the arena. I hope we pack the arena out. No doubt. I hope it be filled in orange and blue. I want to look up on the court and see orange and blue. That'll make my day, just to be from Georgia and have all our fans up there. That'll be awesome. That'll be a dream come true. I'm from Georgia, so this game is going to be big for me. I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to play with my heart. I'm going to play for my family, my coaching staff, the community, and Auburn, just for everyone, because, it's a rivalry. And I just want to win super bad, being a hometown kid from Georgia. And I just want to win for the community. Like I say, the community, fans, coaching staff, everyone.
Right. Absolutely, man. Zeb, thank you so much for your time. As always, brother, we will talk again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Zeb. Thank you so much to Charlie 5 for hanging out with us for a few minutes today. We will be back tomorrow on Locked On Auburn. It'll be a War Report Wednesday. And also we will recap Auburn versus Alabama, the basketball game tonight. Thank you so much for making Locked On your first listen. For your second listen, be sure to check out our friends at Locked On Bets, or maybe Brandon Olson for Locked On Gators, just because he's looking at me right now, or Chris Gordy with Locked On SEC. We'll be back tomorrow right here on Locked On Auburn.